My name is Rainbow, and I'm here to
Hopefully,
say, you know what work down at Bojangles each and every day. In the middle of a 5v2, I couldn't play, but you know what? That's fine, cause I still bear the name. What was that? Oh, no, 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 no. Welcome, guys, to Parmesan 3374.
and I'm Zelsolfon1234.
Today we're going to be having a long conversation about the history and the rise and fall of the battle mode team, the Resolute Razers.
So this video is going to be talking about our old group, the Resolute Razers, and what happened to them. And we're also going to be talking about our group TANCE and what happened to TANCE. And this is going to be a little long of a video, but if y'all just, stick with us.
Yeah, just hang in there.
It shouldn't be too bad.
Just bear us again.
Yeah, we're just going to be talking about, the attempts of trying to start the group and the future.
We might see another group. We might see another group one day. But until then, we'd rather just bring back the memories of these and explain why they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Resolute Razers. So, do you know a good definition of what the Resolute Razers?
I'd say like the IX quote-unquote clan. I'd say it was more of a family, a friend group, a really close friend group, more than an actual clan or battle group. It was purpose as a friend group.
This group started where me, as you look on the top left of the signs, Parmesan 3374, that was my tag. My cousin Zelsolfon1234, we already were a team. We've been a team for
2016, so I don't know, 7 years.
Yeah, even before that, before we even played Minecraft, we did a whole bunch of stuff together, played a whole bunch of games together. So
you could technically say we've been a team my whole life.
Yeah, we've been a team since the 2000s. So that hasn't gone anywhere either. So we did is we never will, and we found two people that they were battle mode players, and they had a passion
during
for
battle mode, we were playing battle mode a lot. I had gotten my Xbox in 2017, and 2018 rolled around, and I got the Xbox Live Gold membership. So we started playing battle mode online with people, and we met a young girl named Choppa Cannon. We formed a sort of a silent rivalry, and we started double teaming on her and chasing her down in every single server we could find.
Yeah, so this was Choppa Cannon. Her that's what her tag was. It actually
she changed it.
Was an attack that she created, but she was our enemy. We didn't really team with her. We didn't like her. We thought she was annoying. We just kept teaming on her, and she kept on getting kind of mad about that when we were mad about her. We just weren't friends at all. We didn't know much about her.
And so one day,
as me and Parma have a legacy of doing, we're known trolls
of the community. We mess with people greatly. So there was one day I was like, you know what? We're just gonna mess with this girl. We're gonna invite her to a party for no reason. And so we did. And that turned out to be turned out to be calm. It didn't turn out to be some crazy oh my gosh, I hate you. It didn't turn into anything. It was just a calm, free people team up on battle.
This was 2019.
We met in 2018.
Well, 2008. I know we met in 2018, but 2019 is when we really became her friend, because 2018 we weren't her friend really. 2019 is when we started teaming with her. We didn't really have an issue, because we just slowly became friends. It was interesting because sometimes enemies don't stay enemies forever. Sometimes you end up losing all that negativity you had, and you kind of just change it, and just get over that. So she ended up becoming one of our best friends for a long time, along with someone that we made friends with late 2019, early 2020. His name was Pro Player.
Yeah, it was Choppa Cannon's friend. We got introduced to him through Choppa Cannon one day on battle mode. At first, we didn't team with him because he was he was fighting us, and he didn't know that we were Choppa Cannon's teammates. So we just started fighting each other. We ended up clearing this out. But
what happened was, Pro Player. I didn't know much about Pro Player at the time, but he was someone that liked to play battle all the time, and he was actually really good at the game. And over time, all four of us just started hanging out. Me and my cousin, and then Choppa Cannon and Pro Player. At first, we were all hanging out with other people like Mystery Man and people like that.
Yeah,
but
me
like
and Parma before
with
this,
2020,
yeah, we have been
when
hanging out with players like Mystery Man and them.
yeah, after we were solid in 2020, we became closer. All of us became closer as friends around like early mid 2020, because before that we were friends, but we included other people, but we really started playing only like exclusively as like a team when around mid 2020, I think. And
It started to
not a lot of
form
people.
because I messed around and made a group chat one day together with all of 4 of us in it, and so we actually just started talking in it casually during this time, and we had no name for it, so we just made up like this really fancy name going, what was it? PJZFDEYX or
It
or
was PJ. It was originally, I think it was a PJZFDE and then double P, but we changed it to YX after
reasons won't be disclosed why. Actually, well, basically he changed his. He wanted to change his tag to Yurko.
Yeah, he wanted to change his tag to Yurko, and pro player it was double P, but of course, means something else. So we were like, yeah, let's just change it to YX. It sounds cooler, right?
Right, yeah.
So we ended up doing that.
Yurko,
and
he was trying to change his tag to Yurko. Pro player wanted to do that. He wanted to make an alt, so he did that, and so he just changed it to YX.
If you look over here, when we built this first arena in it was May 2020. It was pro player and then Prox. That was that's his current name.
Yeah, it was pro player, then pro player, and then it was Yurko, and then it was Prox.
Yurko. Yeah.
Also, during the time before we started hanging out with pro player that much, we had we were trying to get good at PvP, so we built like a training arena.
This whole server, which is PJ PvP, which most people that are watching this probably would recognize, unless you're like either really old or you just joined not too long ago, then you probably wouldn't know the server, but it's kind of like one of those middle servers. But if you go over here, you can see
here's the training arena.
that actually get over here. You found it?
Yeah, this is where
the first
Choppa Cannon and Parma used to train for PvP.
Yeah, this was the first arena, and we did a lot of fights here. And our first kit was like an axe kit that we had iron axes and stuff like that. It was really interesting. It was actually pretty fun, but it was around April, May 2020 is when we did that. And like I said, it was mid 2020 where we really became a group. And it was really like solid. Like a lot of people were confused of why we all played together. Why did I always play with with Choppa Cannon? Her name ended up becoming Mizuki.
And we ended up knowing her by her real name, Destiny, later on.
Yeah, and people were always confused of why we always used to play together. But yeah, this team. If you want to know how we started the name, well, we were actually like debating about what we were gonna call it because of how much we played together.
I want to point out one thing quickly before we get to the name. During this time, while we already had the 4-player group, there was another player, Hopeless, who joined before we named it. She joined, and one day we were just discussing names in the party. This was around the Silver Shroud era, so we were talking about it, and so the reason I mentioned it is because I remember mentioning like Silver Energy as like a team name, and then Parma was like, "No, we don't want to have anything to do with Silver Shroud." I was like, "Oh, whoops." Personally, I never met the guy because I didn't care, but
Silver was something with Silver. That was one of the original titles, and this is when we started becoming more serious when it comes to like friend groups and teams and clans, because the IX clan existed. You had the ninja gang or the ninja clan.
Akota had not yet been born.
Yeah, this was before Akota, but we had teams like that, and we kind of wanted to start something. Oh yeah, and this is also before the American Vam too, but
yeah, we had a vote in the party one day with everybody in it, and we ended up voting upon one name that I think I came up. Me and Parma both came up with half of it. It was Resolute Razers. I came up with like the Resolute.
Yeah, the Resolute Razers.
Parma came up with the Razors part, and we had came up with that, and so we had a vote, and everybody voted Resolute Razers, and so that's what we became known by.
Yep, and as you can see here, the Resolute Razors. And I mean, technically, you can spell that with an O if you want, since it would make more sense if you did that. Originally, that's just how we spelled it, but it was supposed to be more of like an unstoppable battle mode group where we aren't really necessarily toxic, but like if we all teamed together, we would be able to basically win against whoever.
Added on to that, we were supposed to be really close friends and had really fun, like a lot of
really
fun
close
together.
friends. And the thing is that we did have a lot of fun. But here's the thing, we're gonna shift the story now. It didn't really last for as long as it could have.
It lasted from, I'd say, mid 2020 to late 2021.
Yeah, it was mid 2020 to like mid 2021.
It was a good year.
Like it was about a year. And throughout that year, it wasn't really always active, but 2020 was when we played the most. But as time went on, the game started changing. Like more people started to, like different type of people started to play, and then when those different people started to come in, then a lot of the other people started to leave. You know, so it was kind of like a shift that happened. And when this happened,
the reason for this is a lot because it's kind of like how how should I put this? So when a snake sheds its skin and it gets a new layer, it's kind of like that, except the community was getting a new section of people entirely. Besides me and Karma, we're probably the only two people who haven't fully quit from 2020 onward, like ever.
Yeah. I've had my breaks and my wanting to leave stages, but I never said I was all gonna 100% quit and never come back. I had the reasons why I left were either because of the drama that happened or because of school and life. And of course, I never said it was official. It was more of just like I need to quit for now.
No.
I had those moments, and I feel like almost everybody's had those moments, but a lot of these people that played back in 2020, they haven't came back since then, or they maybe played less than 10 times since 2021. So but if as you see here, we have Parmesan 3374, and I changed my tag to Parmesan the 4th, or a lot of people like to say Parmesan IV, and I changed that in it was like early 2021 is when I changed my tag from that to this.
From
but Mizuki and Pro Player
during the time during like 2021, as our team was slowly like starting to become less active, a lot of arguments broke out, mainly because of conflict between people, and people were just young, and we weren't who we are now, just not as mature, and we just got on each other's nerves a lot. And that started to kind of slowly degrade, no matter how much we made up, and it just started to slowly kill the whole thing. Not to mention,
that was also
Hope this kind of got
problem.
forgotten about after a minute, and I feel really bad for her, but...
Yeah, that was another thing. Certain people started to feel like they weren't equal with everybody else. I mean, Pro Player even told me multiple times that he felt like he was counted out. Zessel's told me he felt like he was counted out. There's times where Hopeless was kind of just kicked to the side, and and there was times where I was like the one, and I was trying to get people together, but then it didn't work out. So it was just like, well, if people don't want to be together, then just don't be together. So we were going back and forth for certain
Towards
things.
the end,
and
it
wasn't smooth. It wasn't
it
smooth
wasn't.
at the end. It was extremely rocky, and it seemed like everybody disagreed with each other, even if we didn't want to. It seemed like there was just way too much drama that happened. It wasn't really extreme drama. It was more of just like people just like they can't make up their mind. We wouldn't be able to make up our minds. Some people wanted to leave, but they didn't know if they really wanted to leave, and they're just like, but I don't like what this person said or did. And it was just all of us were young, and we all had our own imperfections. That's a good word.
Yeah.
We all had our own imperfections. So it was too much clashing. That's probably the number one reason why we ended up just breaking up.
As towards the end, where it was had a peak of activity where we weren't on each other's nerves. Actually, no, a really bad argument had just happened or something, and we were kind of desperate for members, so we just kind of started adding everyone. That's why there's more signs. Lucky Emily, T2, Crystal Flame, Jules Wolf, Mystery Man, and Bizy. Bizy joined in 2021. He's probably the oldest member besides Mystery Man. One of the oldest.
Yeah.
members.
So before we get into so what happened was the arguments, they happened, but then after the arguments, we tried to revive it by getting a whole bunch of people involved, and then after that happened, it just slowly went out of style. Everything just went out of style. So if you look at this list right here, you got, like I said, me, Destiny, you got Pro Player, and Pro Player didn't really use this mic that much. Mizuki didn't really use her mic that much. The main people that used their mic was me and him.
Yeah.
Me and Zestful. Zestful and I. We used our mic almost all the time, which was fine as long as we had half of the people that used their mic. You know, as long as you can text. You know, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal, but there were a lot of like not necessarily miscommunications that happened because of that. But if you look on here, you have Lucky Emily 05 because what we did is we were trying to revive it.
To make quickly before Lucky Emily is the fact that Mizuki used the laughing emoji 7 times per second.
That's true, she did. But basically, what happened was we were trying to revive it, right? So there was a period of time where we tried to revive it. This was after most of the arguments that happened, but we just started going around and inviting people. So we tried to invite Lucky Emily. She agreed to be part of it. Helen back wanted to be in the group chat, and we're talking about an Xbox group chat, all right, an Xbox group chat. So Lucky Emily, to Helen back, Crystal wanted to be part of it. I'm Batman, Lego Ninjago are actually my cousins and Zessel's brothers. And they were in there because they wanted to be part of the group chat. Mr. Man and Bizy were part of the group chat. And
Mr. Man, he came along before Iron Wolf or Bizy did because Mizuki was friends with Mr. Man, so she added her in. We just chilled with him sometimes.
Yeah, and Jules Wolf was part of the group chat for like a split second.
She was added in, but I suppose she just fell off like hopeless. She just ended up feeling left out.
Literally everybody, yeah, that was the number one issue. People just felt like, you know, and then certain people didn't want other people to be in the party. Like, let's say person A didn't want person B to be in the party or in the group chat. So it was kind of just like, it wasn't like smooth talking. A lot of the times it was just weird stuff.
Won't mention, but that happened.
A lot of weird stuff that happened. You know what I mean? So it was we tried to, and then again, like not all of these people even played all the time. A lot of these people didn't want to play. They had their own stuff going on. You know.
Jules
and
Wolf
then
had
right
already
after that,
quit, long gone.
Exactly.
When we had added her in.
Yeah.
I don't know who added her, but that was not
and then right after that. And then after that, Mizuki and Pro Player, they decided that they were basically done for a while. Pro Player, he actually lost interest in the game, saying how it was changed and how he just didn't feel like it was the same. And then after that, as time went on, he just slowly left and didn't really come back. You know, his accounts were a little bit different. And it was kind of, I didn't blame him because the game was changing drastically. But yeah, he definitely ended up leaving the game and leaving the Resolute Razers to kind of go on and play different games. I'm assuming with different people. So it was very it wasn't disappointing. It was just kind of sad. But I don't blame him at all. And honestly, I never had any issues with him. So he could do what he wants. If he doesn't want to be part of it, I understand. And Mizuki, I think she ended up leaving a little bit after that because it was just like a mixture of real life stuff happening, and she just kind of like her Xbox had to get put away or something like that. But she just didn't really have huge interest in battle mode and huge interest in this Legacy Edition. So yeah, like I said, over time. But the thing is that she had a little bit more than Pro Player did, because Pro Player seemed like he completely lost it, the interest. But her interest, it kind of didn't really die completely, or like mostly until like around late 2021 or like 2022. Like it took a longer amount of time for Mizuki to not.
Oh, not to mention the fact the big nail in the coffin, a big nail in the coffin for a time was when Mizuki was extremely inactive, and we kind of had to like get her back on. We kind of had to call her back on.
Yeah. Once you have to like text people like multiple times, can you please get on for certain things? Now that's how you know they don't really want to be a part of it, because they just don't even get on their own accord, on their own time. You have to manually tell them. It's just proof that people were just moving on. That's kind of what happened. People just moved on. And everybody almost everybody that you see on this list doesn't really play like at all.
The only one
there's
who
only a
actually
couple
plays
people
frequently are me, John, and Bizy.
Yeah, those are the only 3 people out of this whole list right here that actually play the game. And I had my periods of time where I didn't play the game either. After the Resolute Razers disbanded, I ended up you know, moving on and doing other things. I didn't completely quit. And there was also a period of time where Zestful ended up leaving too after Mizuki and Pro Player decided they wanted to leave, and all these other people just kind of fell
late
off.
2021, my TV started acting up in like early 2022, and then like I just stopped playing eventually. And there was like throughout 2021, I barely even like played that much in the first place. We had moved. Me and Parma discovered the PvP community. We were just playing PvP for like 2 years, from 2020 to 2022, where we rediscovered battle existed. So
yeah, me and Zestful got back into playing together, like you know, like frequently, probably sometime in like maybe around mid to late 2022 is when we started to come back and do certain things. But before that, we actually fell off the game too. Like, I streamed sometimes, but compared to 2020, no, there wasn't barely anything happening that's worth mentioning, unfortunately. Well, I mean, it could be a good thing, and it could be both. It could be a good or a bad thing, because, you know, if you don't play, then no bad things could really happen if you're not around, you know, but no good things could happen either. That's kind of what happened to the Resolute Razers. I mean, I don't really know. Here's one thing I didn't know, though. I don't know. I don't know how many people were aware of the group or were aware of the name, because everybody knows what a Coda is. Everybody knows what the IX. Everybody knows, you know, those groups. But I don't really know if anybody cared, or
even no one in Dakota knows the Resolute Razers existed. The only one person who I know knew the Resolute Razers was Bizy, and what was his name? What was his name? Oh, Minark 94.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I haven't really asked people about it because it's just so obsolete now. It's just like, I don't really know if I really want to ask people about it, you know. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing right now, like in real life, which is why I try to make time for this game, just to play with people that I like. But if no one's on, then I don't know why I would be on here. You know what I mean? Like, if no one's on, then why am I here? It's just, you know, unless I'm really bored. But like, I have things that I'm doing right now.
My prime died. It's my time to move on.
Which is a song that I made. It's called Offline. So if you want to hear how I feel about the whole situation, that's what that song's talking about. It's talking about actually the whole COVID quarantine and how we, you know, made friends online with a whole bunch of different things, and how now that quarantine's kind of out and how it died down, everybody's trying to get their life straight now. Since 2020, it's just kind of changed back to normal. So those days are over. That's kind of the whole point of that. But it's not just Minecraft or Xbox. It could be referring to anything online related. But yeah, those are definitely core memories for sure. Do you want to talk about TANCE?
Well, it kind of calls for it.
Okay, that's enough information on what the Resolute Razers were, or who we were, and we're gonna talk about what TANCE was. So, you know, if anybody's familiar with a Coda. Coda was Cybernox's group, and technically they're still around, but it's a different set of people. Now it's more of IX in Coda, but Coda had kind of a separate group of people that don't really play anymore. But after that happened, what occurred was
it was in like 2020.
It was like a revival, right? It was TANCE was 2021, and I think it was 2000.
It was like,
yeah, it was 2021 and kind of 2022, but it was mostly 2021. And what TANCE was, what TANCE was is we were trying to start a group where it was like a legit group of players that still cared about the community, because the community was very dead. Like, compared to 2020 where Resolute Razers was around, the community completely fell off. It was dead. And so, you know, and a lot of people didn't really like a Coda or Cybernox. So what I did is I got in contact with Cybernox, and I talked to him, and Assassin too, and we all decided to make a group. And TANCE was Cybernox's, he created the name. Is actually, what was it, the Authentic New Community Enforcement, or something like that. And
but yeah, that's basically what happened. We were in a desperate need of a revival. Assassin was trying to get a new community happening, a better one with no crazy stuff happening, no
toxic stuff, yeah,
everything crazy, just out of the way. He wanted a new kind of like a new life for the community, like, you know, on Roblox when you rebirth, kind of like that, you know, like a simulator. So it's like you just wanted a new start, a fresh new start for a fresh new time. And you know, Cybernox, he's been like big on having groups of friends and groups of people together, and you know, he was ready to make a group for a revival. And you know, Cybernox,
Yeah.
he was, I mean, him, Cybernox, yeah, Assassin, Cybernox, and Parma were like the heads.
And Blockhead and Shinzo.
Yeah, we were the heads. I was there, but that was also during my period of inactivity where I just did not play. I just had lost interest. My TV was basically dead, I'm pretty sure, and I was just chilling, you know, living life.
This was late 2021, and because I just checked Okami's channel, but the TANCE was a combination of the Resolute Razers, aka me, basically, like it was just me, but and sometimes Zestful. So it was the Resolute Razers, Akoda, the IX, and Assassins group of people. It was all of those combined, and we were trying to get other people involved. And I actually started a what was it, like a speech, like an interview speech. This is where people started thinking I was Martin Luther King or whatever, because I was trying to start like a Minecraft inside of like an Xbox party. I was trying to speak to everybody about it. It was, you know, like an event, but the thing, it kind of backfired because people thought it was cringe. People just didn't really like it, you know. They weren't completely against it. They just thought it was cringe trying to start a new community, and they just we weren't really interested. You know, so a lot of like all three of the people from Resolute Razers that weren't me, but you know, and sometimes Zestful, but like pro player Mizuki, they weren't going to be part of it. And life, you know, I'm not trying to blame anybody. It was just life, you know. And but yeah, Mizuki at first said it was, you know, I'll be part of it, but then, you know, she was just like, yeah, no. And pro player wasn't around at all. Like I said, he actually left.
And TANCE had a moment of liveliness, as Parma said, on Bonimo's or Akami's channel. You can find a tournament, and there's a whole videos about it on everybody's channel. Everybody had a stream or a video about the first ever TANCE tournament, and everybody was a part of it. There was Quivlex, you know, Anubis. I'm pretty sure Anubis.
I had
Chioji.
a live stream. Yeah, it was a TANCE tournament. Mystery Man won that. Yeah, he was. And Mystery Man, he won that whole tournament, and it was only for legit players. And if you had RF, you couldn't join. Yeah, like if you used RF before, then you weren't able to participate. But I actually had a live stream. The first live TANCE stream. Well, before that was actually a stream that I did where I went around talking about TANCE, and literally almost every single person that was in the community at the time was part of that. Like even if it was in the comments, if it was on the stream, or anything, like there was like a list of like 20 or 30 people that I ended up going around that were in that stream or around that stream. So it was kind of an interesting thing, and it was crazy because the TANCE lasted shorter than the Resolute Razers. TANCE died faster. Like
TANCE died within the first 3 months of it existing.
Yes, TANCE completely died after that. Like Blockhead and Shinzo, they left after that. Like they were trying to be part of it, but then they went on to their own stuff. They both of them did. And then Assassin, you know, he had his ups and downs with wanting to revive the community, but he ended up kind of like slowly separating from it. And Cybernox ended up kind of like what happened to him? Like what do you think happened to him? Because I stopped talking to him, and then when I got back maybe months later, he was like, wait, what happened to TANCE? You know, so he kind of was in a party with his own.
What happened
group
to
of
that?
people.
I was there for that. That's the one thing I was there for. I can give insight on. So during this time, I also I affiliated myself with Akoda. I actually became an Akoda member for a period of time. I was part of Akoda. I chilled with them. I hung out with them for a few nights. Parma was at my house one time. We were talking to Anubis. Yeah, we just had a good time. You know, me and Akoda. I was there. Cybernox. Now, at that time, his gamer tag was Akoda server. Now, as we know, he didn't play battle mode as much. What they were mainly doing was just talking to each other and playing other games, most likely. I don't know what they were doing, but they were mostly just talking.
And they tried to revive Akoda. Remember that? Like they tried to build like another server.
Yeah, and during that time, after Akoda had already dissipated in 2021, they tried to bring IX and what was left of Akoda together to make one. And I was there. I was an IX or Akoda member.
He was for a short bit. He had an account and everything. But what happened was, because Okota ended up disbanded, like the original Okota people ended up disbanding in like
They quit on Cybernox.
you know, 2022.
Cyber was just inactive on Minecraft during that moment. There was no.
He was privately,
privately just
yeah.
talking and chatting more than like actually playing battle mode. And then you know in 2022 he kind of came back like late 2022, early 2023. He's now Zekermex. Yeah, they've been just
now
on PC after the IX and
now it's just the IX. Yeah, now it's just the IX, and now it's just basically the IX members and like Cybernox. That's like which basically formed Okota. Like it's a new Okota. That's basically what happened after TANCE. They ended up making their own group there. And if you're wondering what happened to me, nothing happened to me. I didn't. You know, it all fell out. I didn't join another group. I didn't get into anything else like that. After TANCE ended up, you know, falling out, I ended up going my own way too.
Yeah.
But I didn't have anybody really to go with. It was just me. And sometimes when I was talking to Zestful about it, but besides then, it wasn't anybody else. I just ended up, you know, being solo.
Yeah. It was just same here. Like there was a period where Parma didn't play. I felt pretty solo. I resorted to, during 2022 when Soa Shroud, Upi, Flozel, and all of them were playing Anarchy servers a lot. While Parma wasn't like around too much, I kind of started hanging out with them. That's kind of what happened to me after TANCE broke up and everything. I was just chilling with them up until 2023 where Parma has come back. We've just been playing battle mode. But also during 2022, like I said, my TV died, and so I kind of just gave up until now where I'm at.
Yeah, where he uses a monitor now. But yeah, that's basically the story of the Resolute Razers and TANCE and what happened to them and who was a part of it and what are we doing now. If you're wondering what we're doing now, we're getting into these
the plans for the future.
Yeah.
Well, based on Parma's previous video, we might see revival. There might be a new legit community. You know, we're gonna try and make sure RF doesn't get used, mainly because Humanoids has made it clear that he just does not. He's not about rapid fire. He's not about it. So we're gonna try and improvise. We're gonna make an all legit community. Hopefully, if we really see revival. And if we don't, then it's fine. It's just Minecraft.
If we don't, we don't. Yeah, it's just a game.
Yeah,
you know?
and there's nothing to cry over.
We already
if we
had
do,
our period.
Then, hey, that's amazing.
And by the way, that video, it was half serious, half not serious. Like you could tell I was joking around a little bit, but at the same time, I definitely would like to see some type of revival happen, where these old players come back because you know, I feel like it's necessary to start a legit only community. But if that doesn't happen and we just all end up going our own ways again, and like, you know, Okota and IX go their own way, and I end up, I don't know what the heck's gonna happen to me or Zestful, what we're gonna do. But you know, who knows what the future holds. But is that it? I think that's it.
That's pretty much it. I do want to mention the fact though that if we do see a revival, then there's going to be a lot different about the community. A lot's going to be changed.
If there's going to be some type of revival where we can get like all these OG people back, including, you know, the people that are listed in the previous video, then we're gonna probably start something where we just completely leave the RF. This is only an if, because there's no guarantee that it will happen. We're just saying,
don't get your hopes up.
If the community grows, where all these people come back, then the RF is going out. You know what I mean? But if it doesn't happen, then, you know, it doesn't even matter. Like, it just doesn't. It really doesn't. Because there's really nothing going on right now. So let's just hope that something will happen. Let's just see. All right. Well, that's the end of the video, I think. Watch out
and
for the
stop
documentary.
asking when the documentary's gonna come out.
Yeah, for sure. Just give us some time, please.
Like, come on, I got asked like
you know, the
5
documentary
times
will
today
talk
when
about
the
most.
documentary
The
is coming
documentary,
out.
the documentary will talk about most of this stuff. You know, and we're probably gonna put some part of this video in the documentary. So, yeah.